Alrighty, welcome back. It is now time to jump into match number 3 out of 5. I am Achilles. This is Valdez. In case you're joining us late, in which case, good morning or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you're watching around the world.
Maybe you just got off work.
Could be.
Got some hot tea. You're all snuggled up in your blanket because it is winter. Oh, I guess it's not in Australia. But it's cold here.
Yes.
So
quite cold.
That's what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
That's actually what I was doing yesterday when I was watching Atlas and Wolf, casting some of the KeSPA Cup, just all snuggled up.
I was playing World of Warcraft Classic while I watched some of my other monitor.
Yeah, okay.
It's farming,
fair enough.
Farming some herbs and that stuff. Let's go ahead and take a look at Gen.G.
젠지 카리스 김홍조라고 합니다. 안녕하세요. 뛸 수 있도록 로스터에 등록된 것만으로도 좀 기분이 좋고 실제로 대회를 뛸 수 있다는 것도 좀 기대도 많이 되고 걱정도 좀 많이 되는 것 같아요.
젠지 2군 탑을 맡고 있는 론리 한규준이라고 합니다. 제가 이 캐스파컵을 뛸 거라고 이제 생각을 안 하고 있었는데 저희 기회를 주신 만큼 이번 대회 때 그래도 좀 잘하고 싶다 이런 느낌인 것 같아요. 그래도 제 전 팀이었던 만큼 샌드박스 서밋형 꼭 이기고 싶습니다. 저희가 다른 팀에 비해서 그래도 2군이어가지고 좀 약할 수도 있다고 생각하시겠는데 이번 대회 때 그래도 꼭 이제 잘해가지고 4강에는 가고 싶다 이 생각으로 이제 임하고 열심히 하겠습니다.
저희 이제 젠지라는 팀 이름에 맞게 플레이로 보여드리겠습니다.
I like that. Very honest. Coming out of Lonely there. Says, you know what? We're not the main roster, but we're aiming for the semifinal. They have a clear goal, and they're honest about it. And if they can get there, think about how impressive that would be.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, this side of the bracket does look a little bit weaker than the other side, than Group A, if I'm completely honest. So maybe they'll have a chance. Again, it depends on how good they are. I have seen Lonely. He mentioned his former team, Sandbox. He used to be behind Summit and come out every once in a while when they were struggling a lot. Gen.G, we've seen him before, Cars as well. Envy and Kale will be interesting to see how they do down in the bottom side here for Gen.G.
It's like kind of going for the bang pose, but he's got like the fingers split, so it's like a little bit odd. Like I can't tell if he's trying to like reach out and grab something.
It's like a Runon's Hurricane.
Are you shooting?
You know, like multiple bullets come out.
I suppose that could very well be it. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at KeSPA again.
KT 롤스터의 탑라인을 맡고 있는 도란 최현준입니다. 다 새로운 사람들이랑 새 출발을 하게 돼서 기대가 많이 되고 있습니다. 미드 정글이 중요해서 유칼 선수와 보니, 기드온 선수가 잘해주지 않을까 생각하고 있어요.
이제껏 제가 팀에 나가는 쪽이었지 있는 입장에서 나가는 팀원들이 지켜본 적이 없었던 것 같거든요. 약간 이제 동빈이 형의 기분을 느껴보는 그런 시기였던 것 같아요. 당연히 저는 다음 게임이 쇼메이커 선수가 연기되지 않나 싶어요. 제가 쇼메이처럼 하면은 저희 보니 선수도 캐니언처럼 할 거라고 생각해서 제 실력이 어느 정도인지 좀 확인하고 싶은 그런 상대인 것 같아요. 저랑 보니 선수가 이제 호흡을 처음 맞추는 단계인데 쇼메이 캐니언 그 이상 아니면 못지않게 더 잘해보도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Alrighty, well, I mean, talking up Bonnie, but he's not going to be here this time around. Instead, we do have Gideon joining KT Rolster for their second series of the day.
And we also have Castle and Vikla and Rebel. So the only person who played in the last game was Noah. And you can see that down on the bottom right just to make it a little bit clearer. So KT Rolster, we talked about, bringing in second rosters for some of these teams. KT Rolster have done the same for this second game, so they're not scared to throw out some of the other guys they have in their lineup and get them some experience.
Yeah, which I think is, overall a good thing. Get them some experience here before they head in to the LCK in 2021, because that's going to be a much more intimidating stage to play on comparatively here to the KeSPA Cup. At least you can get started, play against some of the other squads and their B-tier, B-team talent, I should say, rather.
Yeah.
In an offline setting, online setting.
I also want to mention one thing really quickly. Noah didn't get swapped out, and the guy that's behind him, I say behind with quotes, is Hybrid, who, again, is a guy that has shown that he can kind of solo carry from time to time. Now, he didn't have the best end of the season, but definitely a strong talent. So it's interesting that they don't put him out, maybe trying to get some of the younger players in the roster some more experience here, as we are going to be jumping into pick ban.
And it's flying by pretty quickly. Lucian Renekton banned away by KT. Interesting to see the Crocodile get taken off the board. Graves Samira as well. KT banned the Gragas, and you kind of have to anticipate that this is going to be the Pantheon from Gen.G.
Or Akali.
But I was about to say that would leave Akali open, or vice versa.
Well, it's going to be one of them. Maybe you leave both of them open so you can get one for yourself. But we'll see what they decide to do in terms of their ban here. Okay, they're going to take away the Pantheon now. Can KT play the Akali? They are going to. We'll see how that goes.
Well, for the first time here in KeSPA Cup, Akali does make her way to Summoner's Rift. So still 100% presence, but the first time in now 8 series that we will get to see her played. Seems like Olaf might just be the option here for Gen.G. After a little bit of attack on the jungle pool here, but mostly just that Graves taken off the board.
Yeah. Olaf picked here, so is the KeSPA. And that will be piloted by Envy, you would have to imagine.
I mean, depending on what they want to get, there's still plenty of powerful jungle picks available for KT if they want to secure that in this first half of the draft before the next bans come through. Talia is somebody who is still available that they could very well pick up. Would be a lot of CC, especially alongside the Alistar that they go ahead and lock in for Rebel.
Yeah, I mean, Talia is something that goes well with the hard CC of the Alistar, so I wouldn't mind it here.
Oh, okay.
Thinking about a Kindred, definitely something that can fool around with the Olaf's mind a little bit early on and make some of those fights a little bit annoying, but as the game comes along, can just get run down by the Olaf, as Leona seems to be the other support pick we're seeing a lot of, alongside of it, Alistar and I suppose Shen. Shen we saw today, yeah. So not too much of a difference in terms of the support champion pool just yet for today's games.
Yeah, they have been the most prevalent so far. We've seen some one-off support picks, but the Leona Alistar have been the 2 most consistent ones that we've had. Set is somebody who's available if you want to have a hyper-aggressive bot lane, but I haven't seen too many people stray towards that.
Yeah, thinking about this first ban here for Gen.G, they're going to take away some 80 carries, so Misfortune the first one to go. Will they ban another one, or maybe try to close down some of those other solo laners that are still available? The TF gets banned, so Karis can't play that one. And what are we going to have here? Anivia still available.
Yeah, it wasn't the best first representation of Anivia that we've seen, so maybe somebody wants to redeem the bird. But Jin will be the 5th and final ban here from Gen.G. It's going to be matched by a Sylas.
Okay, so Sylas taken off the board. We haven't seen too much play of Sylas, but definitely something that can do well. And Ornn immediately. So Sylas, one of the big answers to Ornn, but he's banned away. So they immediately just say, okay, thank you very much. We'll pick up that Ornn. We don't mind.
Playing around with their options. Flash and Ezreal here for the moment, as KT's still going to be looking for an 80 carry. Pool's pretty limited as far as your prime pick. Something like the Kalista is still available, though. Fate's Call works well with the Alistar, but seems like, yeah, they're just going to go for safety in the bot lane. The Ezreal still scales really well. So we'll just go ahead and nab that up alongside the Aatrox.
Yeah, Ezreal coming in is pretty interesting. Don't see it all too often. nowadays, but we'll see how it does. Obviously, a lot of annoying stuff that can get us in his face, and he wants to avoid that, so just get picked up. The Orianna will be the choice, as Orianna has seen a lot of presence here today, especially.
Yeah, wasn't that huge of a pick yesterday. 2 out of 5 games was present, once played, once picked. Or once banned, rather, once pulled. Words.
Difficult.
Sometimes difficult.
Yeah.
But a big little divergence here today in the meta. So Orianna coming through yet again, looking like it's going to be going up against that Akali with the Aatrox versus the Ornn. So a bit of a wet noodle battle for a while in the top lane. See if we get any jungle interaction to try and accelerate the pace in those lanes.
Yeah, Lonely gonna have a fun time. Lonely, a guy that has LCK experience as well, subbing in for Summit in the past. And we'll see. We'll see how he does up against Castle. Very curious about some of these KT members that we just have really not seen much at all in Korea. So they got to come out here and give it their best shot. That's somewhat what the KeSPA Cup is about, seeing some new players, some new lineups. And that is definitely what we're getting here. As taking a look at these comps, it does look like KT's one a bit more skirmish heavy. And I'm very curious to see how the Akali is going to do. There are some squishy picks that she can make, but a strong front line to deal with as well.
Alrighty, and here we go for game number 3. KT second series of the day, looking to finish with a 2-0 after their win over Brion. Gen.G with their first appearance, looking to start off with the right foot forward.
All right, well, let's see how this one is going to go. Is that the Elder Ornn skin?
I wouldn't know.
I think...
You're barking up the wrong tree there, my friend.
I think it is. And, of course, for a limited time, you can purchase that, and proceeds will go to charity.
Oh, very nice.
Something that Riot had going on.
Well, in that case, buy them up.
Was announced and advertised over at the All-Star event that we were doing last weekend. And no shenanigans here, no invade just yet. They could go for it now. Seems like they are considering it, but this time around, KT is here with 3 members ready to help defend.
They're pressing forward. What's there? They get a little bit of vision. Undertow clips onto Rebel. And a big roam down from Castle, looking to surprise them. Gen.G still committing forward for the red buff. Rebel up in their face, gonna get rooted. Focus fire, flashes away, gets the knock up there on a Kale, takes him quite low. The jump forward comes in as the Aatrox arrives. Kill has to be used, red buff gonna be snatched up, and Envy's gonna have to flash over the wall. Summoner spells expelled all over the place for Gen.G. KT, however, they don't lose out on too many. Flash from Rebel.
Yeah.
Obviously a smite used from Gideon, and then Castle burns his flash and the TP to get back up here before the wave crashes into the tower.
Yeah, I think Lonely should have let some of those minions die. Instead, he's really trying to push the issue and push the lane quite literally here, but he was never going to deny the teleport up to the top lane. And the ability for Castle to get up and get all the minions there, at least in terms of XP, and be totally fine. So we'll take a look here at the replay. Obviously, it was 5-on-4 eventually because Ornn was just not here.
Yep.
And it starts off, and you're thinking, oh, Rebel, you went a little bit too far. As we'll see him move forward here. He gets stunned up and then nearly dies, but a good response. Even takes the Ignite away. And Undertow is thrown that way as well, but he lives, and as you mentioned, even though nobody died, a lot of summoners did die.
And they don't even get the red buff, so it's completely just profit in the hands of KT, at least at the start there. Recall will come out from Noah. Start off with the tier. Now is the refillable potion, a little bit of extra vision to keep himself nice and safe in the bot lane. So things likely going to slow down now. But as I say that, Gideon waiting over the wall. Collapse is coming in from both top laners in the mid. Do we just get a 3v3 skirmish in the river? Looks like it's going to be an instant turn onto Lonely. He tries to dash away. They pursue forward. Falls low. Flash in. He flashes over the wall, but it does not matter. The auto already goes off, and Gideon will claim first blood, and that is catastrophic. The first blood going over onto the Kindred.
Yeah, they had a pretty good ward there to spot the Olaf and I believe the Orianna maneuvering over. And a great call as well from Gideon and Castle to say, hey, Lonely is too far down the river. We can just immediately turn onto him. Ornn, not very tanky right in the beginning of the game, so
yeah,
it's easily able to take him low. Unfortunately, he did burn his flash there, even though he already had 2 stacks from the Kindred ability and should have known that another one was coming in. So a bit panicked there. Does blow his flash and doesn't get much else. So definitely a pretty good start here for the side of KT, picking up that Rift Scuttler. And the kill, of course.
Not the best way to kick things off. Gen.G, at least for now, do have the early leads in CS in the top and in the bottom lanes that are going to be keeping them just slightly ahead as far as the gold is concerned. But cannot afford to make more positional mistakes like that.
One thing that Gen.G do have going for them is the bottom lane did take a nice trade here onto Noah, who took way too much damage early on and actually had to flash from a trade that they did have. And so he's kind of struggling to get back online, but he's definitely behind on CS for this moment in time.
Castle going to be able to scoop up these final few minions. Just 4 down at the moment. Nothing too bad, but is going off for the recall right now. So Lonely does have a bit of an opportunity to shove in while the TP is down, try to deny some extra CS away from this Aatrox.
Yeah, Kara's here. We have seen him before, I believe just subbing in maybe once or twice in some Gen.G games. And he didn't really show off too much, but he's going to have to show off a lot here against the Akali, which has been permabanned so far. And it's just because Riot did add in some items that make some of these, you know, melee assassin-esque AP champions a bit better. Akali specifically, she does gain a lot of fun stuff in some of the items that we will be seeing a little bit later on in this game. Gen.G just going to move over here to the dragon and just take it away.
Go ahead, scoop that up. Nice early objective for them. Mountain Drake, Ocean's going to be on the way, so either a Cloud or an Infernal Drake for our soul.
Cloud 3 times in a row, maybe.
Hell yeah!
I think that's, it's on the menu. It's a windy day.
It is indeed.
Here on Summoner's Rift. They just, they didn't turn off the AC or something. Even though it is winter. And some trading up here on the top side. Looks like Castle is doing just fine after getting that early kill onto the Ornn. I suppose the Kalista did pick it up, but able to get in there and get that assist and has total control over this lane so far.
Yeah, early buy. He's got the Phage here, so I think he can output a decent amount of damage. Flash away instantly there from Rebel on the bottom side as Kale goes aggressive. A little bit of damage going to be traded back onto Envy, however, by Noah, who stays safe for the most part. But now Rebel can't really afford to press forward. Flash in, Xenoblade comes in. We'll just go ahead and headbutts him out. Really great denial on the aggression here by Rebel. MJ now rotating around towards the top side of the map. The Undertow will get the connection. The Ornn going to be blown. Only for looking for the knock-up. But Castle flashes the other way back into the lane rather than down into the river. He eludes capture and will stay safe.
A couple of nice episodes that did occur. The bottom lane is just totally wacky and wild. Like, what, I don't know, is going on down there between the two supports. The two of them just getting into really weird situations with the way they're playing the game. And then, of course, a gank attempt up top side. But the second you flash the Ornhorn, you're going to be totally safe as the Aatrox. So nothing really happening up there. And it looks like on the back of that, KT just going to move up to the top side. You see that Rebel after backing, after the weird trades that they had down on the bottom side, he's just going to move up here, help support this one. And it is on Vision, and even though Kale was up here at the same time, mirroring his support opponents, he is still going to get, be able to get in there.
Yeah. Keep Noah away from the wave, slow on mana, so can't really try to poke out the Force Envy back. Does make his way back over here, though, in time to pick up the cannon, as well as the remainder of this CS. So isn't going to be missing out on a whole lot, but currently finds himself 11 down.
He's going to try to push it here with Alistar, but they're
There
looking
you
to
go,
set this up.
Flash in, Xenoblade, it connects, however, onto the Alistar, and the headbutt yet again will just send Kale flying backward. Double keeping himself safe, and not even that much damage offered up, so he's still more than healthy enough to stick around should they need to.
Yeah, Alistar never really going to have too much of an issue against Leona. And we see part of the reason why. I mean, this is even before 6. He's just the second that Leona goes in, you just headbutt her away. It's like, oh, you stunned me? Okay, I buffered it. It's fine. You just get out of there. No ifs, ands, or buts. And only really early on in the game, in some of the ways that Rebel was just overextending, could he potentially have an issue there. But since then, he's been clean and has been able to ward off any aggressive attempts from the Leona that did come in. As we're just kind of hanging out here. There hasn't been too much aggression outside of that one kill that was up in the river.
That's too much for LCK standards.
Yeah.
We got to slow it down, guys.
Too much, guys.
What do you think this is? The Demacia Cup? We don't have aggression here.
Definitely not. We're taking our time with this one. Looks like Kale wants to move over with Karis and maybe make some plays happen. Getting some vision before this Ocean Drake does spawn will be very beneficial to the team. And let's see what happens here. Looks like Vikled's going to be clearing that one out. Gideon with the Rift Herald, he is looking to go all the way around. I don't know if they have the damage really to take out the Ornn, though, but they could still try to get some plates.
Yeah, push him off the tower, perhaps. They are now aware of him as he's spotted by the pink ward. Pings come through. He'll clear that out as the wave starts to move forward.
Yeah.
What do they do next? There's no wave. They're going to just summon the Rift Herald directly in front of the tower.
Yeah. They're not messing around with that one. Gen.G not in position. He's just going to be able to take down the Ocean Drake. And Lonely alone is going to have trouble taking this down. He will eventually, but that's 3 plates going to the top and jungle of KT, essentially for free.
It's a cloud.
It is, of course. I mean, there was another option, but it wasn't going to happen.
Nope.
As we've seen before, it's always the Cloud Soul for some reason today.
It just be that way sometimes. So, yeah. Ocean for some plates. I mean, given the Aatrox, given the Kindred, going to be more than happy to get them that extra gold at the cost of just an Ocean Drake. You have to have some concern with the double dragons coming through for Gen.G and try to pick up that 3rd one, just to slow the tides towards the Dragon Soul coming through for them.
Nice little hold there from Kale. He's been not in the bottom lane all too much, actually. He's been helping out mid, getting some vision down. And we see that Envy misses a couple of the CS here. And just going to pick that up now. Their observers, I feel like, have been doing pretty well. They are, in fact, the LCK observers. You guys might have noticed some of their little twerks. Or quirks, I should say. I don't know why I said
They're little
very
twerks.
different things.
They're little twerks. Huh.
Yeah. The way that they observe, and some of the zoom-ins, of course, is very much a Jonas Strong kind of thing.
All right, well, knock up in onto Envy. Tries to dash out. Gonna be okay. Doesn't have to use the flash or the heal. Just gonna be okay for the moment, but will be sent packing back over towards base to get topped up. And likely make a purchase. Good recovery on the CS score here. The CS score, that's redundant. For Noah. Dragging it back and getting ready to take a slight little lead here, as well as get this solo plate goal to himself.
Yeah. Glad you mentioned it solo. Although he's only able to get one before the plates do go down, so that's kind of unfortunate. We have this ward up here. We'll call it Amanda. Has survived for quite a long time and is getting some good vision.
Is this your and Atlas's new pastime? Is just naming the wards?
Yeah, we just name all the wards.
Okay.
The ones that survive for a long time, though.
I see.
You know.
What? Okay. So what is the time frame? How long until they deserve name?
Generally, if
5
it's
minutes?
if you know it's been around for like 3 to 5 minutes and
Long enough that you notice that it's been
got
there?
yeah, we notice it because it got value. So like the observer shows, hey, this showed it. By the way, KeSPA is dead.
Yeah, Envy taking quite a bit of
Or
damage
not.
here, but with the TP pressure coming through, Vikla will have to pull back.
Yeah.
And now it's going to be a 3-man push down onto the bottom side. They're very well aware of where Kale is at. Vikla still does hold onto the flash. Zenith Blade connects. Solar Flare stun goes through. Envy does not have the killer instinct ready to go. This is a few seconds away from it. Now has it available. Had that up a couple seconds sooner. Might have actually been able to make a play in for that kill. Carson, in the meantime, was shooting down towards the bottom side of the map to try and help out. Has to rescue his tower.
Yeah, a bit of an overcommitment from Gen.G to respond to that. Nobody ends up rotating down bot though, so Envy actually is able to pick up the turret after all of that. It seems like KT said we'd rather focus on getting the Rift Herald and of course this mid turret that they were getting a little bit of damage done to, but as you mentioned, Karis makes it back on time. So pretty interesting set of plays that actually gets Gen.G back into the game because second Rift Herald, not as important, and they barely lost any damage to their mid turret whilst also getting the bottom turret for themselves. So gonna be feeling pretty good about their situation in this one, and we're all even here. It's 1-0, 16 minutes in. Gen.G have a 1-0 turret lead.
Woo!
Yeah. So yeah, back to the ward. If it lives for like 3 to 5 minutes and the observer shows it getting value,
Okay.
that's generally when we're like, oh, this is an important ward. By the way, Amanda's dead, so unfortunately, she did not last long this time around. Maybe next game.
Well, it is what it is. What is the naming system? Is there a naming system? Is it just
whatever
randomly?
you want.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was going to be like hurricanes, where it's by
No?
letter, alternating, you know.
No, I've named, I'm trying to think of some other names I've used. Eugene, Gilbert.
It's the name of my personal trainer. Not Gilbert, Eugene.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever met somebody named Gilbert in my life.
it's my brother.
Oh,
My brother's name is Gilbert. There you go.
well, okay.
It's, I don't think it's that popular.
Well, speaking of another G name, Gideon. Getting feisty. Jumps forward, gets quite a bit of damage here onto Young Jay. Shockwave! Quite huge. Lamb's Spite, however, will come down to keep Gideon alive. Just away over to the other side. And here comes the Ornhorn. Piles through 2 of them, but look at the kills there for KT. Just exploding for
Wait,
Vikla.
what?
Looking for a little bit more
What?
lonely. Still just kind of walking forward. Now says, oh, wait, I need to retreat. But won't be allowed to do so. And, yeah,
Wow.
that's just the fight. He just kind of waddled his way in to die.
He's like, 3 is an unlucky number. I must give you 4 kills. Here you go. You know, he had the brittle down with his W. I mean, there's really no excuse for that one. Even if you do get the kill, you're just giving yourself over 100% plus assist gold, plus XP. It's just never a good idea to try to reach for kills on an Ornn. But it's not just his fault, right? Okay, so good start here by Gideon. He gets it all started. And a fantastic move by Karis, but getting the Lamb's Respite down before he dies is so massive.
Yep.
Because it baits everybody on Gen.G to fight on top of the Lamb's Respite. But both the Ornn and the Orianna couldn't really get in there. So it ended up just being a 5v3 and then a 5v2. And, well, then Lonely said, let me just give you an extra kill.
My Sunfire Aegis shall burn you to death. And then just
Honestly, a couple patches ago, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, maybe like
true.
very
But-
true.
Didn't go that way this time around.
Yeah, no.
All right, well, he at least spots out that he's completely surrounded and will retreat to the inner tower. So, avoiding feeding over another kill.
Yeah, it was just a bit of a messy one, and I think that Gideon kind of carried the whole fight essentially.
Yeah.
He got it started, and the Lamster Spite timing was literally perfect. So,
As the shockwave came through.
yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of names, Gideon just reminds me of Mr. Robot series. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Ah, yeah, I've watched up to the last season, which I've heard is fantastic, and I haven't.
Yeah, I only watched the first two, but I really loved them, and then I didn't watch anything else.
I want to give
some
it a
reason?
whole other watch through, start from the beginning,
Yeah,
even though
you
I
should.
Oh! Cheeky Noah. Two-shot barrage steals away the red buff.
Yeah. That was really close too. That was like 43 health.
Yep. Now we got the Rift Tail down to the bottom side of the map, and turret's already quite low, so that's gonna fall.
Yeah. This is a good look for KT, you know?
Yeah.
They win with their main roster. They come in and put mostly subs, and they're winning with their sub roster.
Executing well without having the veteran voices of Yukal, and Dorn there to
And
try to back them up. So.
I don't think that Noah was, you know, the driving force or the shot caller or anything. Usually AD carries are not in general, and also just some of the other guys in the lineup, as you mentioned, are a bit more of that role.
Gideon moving forward, so much damage being pushed out.
See ya.
Oh man, layers in, really well timed. True shot barrage in with the jump forward and the arcane shift, as well as the Q damage, just completely obliterates Kale. Had the flash, just didn't think he needed to use it, thought it was going to be okay to retreat, but surprise, the burst comes through, and now the tower goes down 6-1, gold lead exploding forward from KT after that last fight, and now they just continue to press every advantage that they get.
Yeah, they've really taken control of this game, and there's not really much that Gen.G are doing to right the situation. Yeah. Gideon able to get another stack here, another mark. He's got 4, which is, of course, a big number. Get a little bit of that range increase. And you're feeling really good as a Kalista. I feel like when you looked at Gale Force, when I looked at Gale Force first as an item, I was like, man, this is going to be great for champions that don't have that much mobility and that need that little bit of extra oomph, like a little dash. But actually, it's just great on all the dash champions.
Yeah.
You use it on Graves, you use it on Kalista.
I mean, the thing that made those dash champions great is their dashes, so why not give them more dashes to further make them even greater?
Exactly. That ended up being the logic.
You can't have too many dashes.
Now, I'm not saying it's not a good item on some champions that don't have mobility. It gets built a bit on Jhin and other AD carries, of course, that could use some mobility. But a lot of the popular champions, especially ones in the jungle, like Graves and Kalista, they use the item so well. And it's just insane. Like, you can close the gap on anything.
Yeah.
On anyone. Because Kalista's dash is even bigger than Graves' one. And I think it's got a lower cooldown as well. It's like 4 seconds or something ridiculous, because it also adds to her DPS. So it's just crazy. You're never really going to lock her down, especially with the start that she has. I mean, she almost has as much farm as her laners now. And she's already proven, Gideon that is, that he can pull off some cool plays as well.
Yep. Since you mentioned it, I keep thinking of Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, I never saw that movie.
Oh,
I know you've seen everything
my
ever
goodness!
made. So
How have you missed out on that masterpiece of cinema? Edgar Wright.
I can tell you haven't watched much of the LCK.
What a
because if you ask Atlas and LS about my pop culture knowledge, they would also face palm a little bit.
I mean, I think I can compete probably with those two in just about every facet other than maybe Pokemon.
No, yeah, I'm pretty sure you take the cake. But that's why I'm just saying the comparison between me and like normal people.
Well, it's a
generally
great movie.
Yeah, I have heard actually. Haven't gotten the time to watch it.
I won't say anything else. Gideon's a character in the movie. That's all you need to know.
Okay. Looking forward to it when I watch it in 6 years.
I mean, the other thing I was going to bring up is I
Yeah.
was going to quiz you on if you happen to know your Ornn upgrades after the changes.
No.
But we might not hit the point where you have to start naming them.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
we've not seen any yet.
yeah. He's getting there.
And if this pressure continues from KT, and this continuously pushing their advantages, the game might just end.
There is a possibility. Okay, so Luden's Echo is the Eye of Luden.
Yep.
That's a cool name.
Not difficult. Not too difficult, rather.
Uh-huh.
How about Leandri? What does that become?
It's another one of those, like, it's like Leandri's lament. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, it's just like another one of those sad words. Leandri's always sad. Or crying mask. Rebel is really fast. He's got double Cloud Drake in the Cloud Soul here. And he has Moby Boots. And that's another red buff that gets stolen away by KT here. There hasn't been too much action, but when there is, a red buff gets stolen.
Oh. Enthralling.
Oh, take some of those popcorn chicken away.
Get the popcorn chicken. You got can't get the big one. Oh, see the plane? Let's find one. Shockwave solo onto Rebel. Kale now going to be displaced. Great headbutt. Sends him straight into Noah at Gideon's grasp. Shoot their way through the Leona. Now look for a little bit more. Young.G sent running for the hills. Had to flash out with the ult up just to try to get out to safety.
That Orin Horn.
Yeah, they've been sad.
It just, yeah, a little bit lonely. They have no companions. It hits absolutely nothing. And it was a little bit too little too late, right?
Yep.
It does seem like some of the issues that have plagued this Gen.G second roster are also plaguing some of the other teams in this KeSPA Cup that have not played too many games together, because Gideon, right over the wall, he's like, okay, now we're fighting front to back. It's only Leona and Kale here. There's 0 damage.
Yep.
I mean, or not Leona and Kale.
Sad.
Kale and Olaf. Kale and Young.G were in there, and they were all alone, and it's like, you have 0 damage, and you're facing against Ezreal and Callista with an Alistair in front of them. How are you ever going to do anything
Kindred?
to get onto that back line?
It's a Callista.
Oh, Kindred, yes.
It's all right.
Some name troubles today. They both start with K.
They do. I mean, if you want to talk about that, you've got Ornn, Olaf, Orianna over on
That's true.
Gen.G side.
You also have Oyona.
If you put them all together and read them out by their first name, it says Ukul.
Good observation, Achilles. Thank you for that. That's why you're here.
That's what they bring me in for.
Yep. Every year at the
Once
end of the
a year.
Yep.
KeSPA says, hey,
okay.
come say some dumb stuff on broadcast for us. They say, all right, Lam's quite going to be down. Gideon trying to stay alive, and DB does manage to find the kill. The trade-off here as Young.G does fall. The aggression now coming through as MP flashes over the wall back in behind the tower to stay safe. Now it's just he and Lonely on their lonesome trying to stay in the fight. Kara's in the back line. Will avoid the infernal chains, but yeah, this is just inevitable. Fate gets a little bit of shielding as he continues to try to sprint his way out of here. He does have the TP. He's trying to create enough of a gap that he can maybe get that channel off, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Maybe at this point, sacrifice himself to the tower and try and deny the kill.
He's trying.
He's trying to zone back Vikla, but yeah, okay. Vikla's had enough of it, says I'll just flash forward, finish you off myself. And be popped up. Goes chase forward, looking for the kill onto Noah. Shot barrage not going to connect. Reaggresses, jumps forward with the arcane shift, takes him down. Wants desperately to get that final mystic shot in onto the Ornn, but will not be able to find it. Instead, will just poke down. See the play now comes out. Undertale does connect. TP coming through to try to save his life. Jumps over to the side. He's still in the fight. Vikla goes in. They do lose out on the Ezreal, but now they might just win the game. Everybody dead. 18 seconds now on Karis as the first in-hip turret does fall.
Noah's like, yeah, this game has gone on too long enough. Let me just 1v3 them. And okay, they're not going to end the game. They don't have their Kindred. And that is part of the reason. So good engage here
What a
from
fight.
the side of Rebel, but actually Gideon gets a bit caught out here. So he had to use his ultimate on himself. The Ornn ultimate hits nobody again, somehow. Envy totally isolated in the back line. At least he's able to flash the wall, as Vikla was looking for some potential there. But at the end of the day, what we remember is just Noah going ham here because, you know, baits him in a little bit, gets knocked up. Rebel has to leave him alone. And you're thinking after the ult misses that maybe they're going to back off, but that is not the case. He sticks around, and then once he goes forward here, they're like, are you serious? You're dead. And then no, he just outplays them, just doing too much damage.
Yeah, finally does catch up to him, but I mean, the turnaround is there. They have the recollapse to go ahead and avenge his death. And now KT are just 700 shy of a 10K gold lead, 29.5 minutes into this game. Mid inhib broken down. Now looking for the final outer turrets here. Power this boat outside of the base. Two-shot barrage will go through.
I think it is actually called inner turret.
I believe it is.
It's like outer turret, inner turret, inhibitor turret, nexus turret.
I mean, I should know this.
I'm pretty sure that is actually the official nomenclature of the turrets. But not 100% sure. I think that's just kind of what people call it. So we have the Eye of Luden completed for the side.
Oh boy.
Of the Orianna. So it actually happened.
We've got a couple of them actually coming through.
Yeah, we have Gale Force's upgrade, which is called Typhoon.
Ah!
There you go.
As well as if I can find it here. Oh, the ceaseless hunger for the Olaf.
Yes.
So he's transformed his gore drinker.
Well, you're drinking gore. I don't really know what that means, but you're doing that, and then your hunger is just never ending after it upgrades to the next level.
Yeah, you've gone from being thirsty to being starving.
Yeah. Well, when you're, you know, it's an interesting name. It's an interesting name, Gore Drinker, but it is a very strong item. So that is something we are going to be saying a lot. We already have 2 in this game, or should I say had, because one of them got transformed into Ceaseless Hunger.
Gore Drinker also sounds like a teenage band that would be playing a Warped Tour.
Yeah.
On like the small stage where they get like the community acts.
Yeah, you know, that could work. And we're just kind of waiting for this one. You know, maybe we could make Gore Drinker into a pentakill song.
That would be a good one. It'd be a really good one.
That could be a good name. We have, what do we have? We got Lightbringer.
Lightbringer's great. Deathfire Grasp. Rest in peace that item. Homewrecker.
Yeah.
Rest in peace that item.
A lot of
the discography is a little out of date for Pentakill, but
now here's your chance with Gore Drinker.
Oh, okay. Quite a bit of damage. True Shot Barrage goes forward onto Kale, takes him down to about half. Shockwave's gonna whiff.
Yeah. He
Puts
dashes
him back
in
for a moment, but yeah, the Arcane Shift instantly forward from Noah there. Nearly finds the Leona. Baron is now up.
He dashes in, he dashes out. Like, good luck with your CC abilities, especially something delayed like a Shockwave.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
Well, they know that they kind of have to go for this one and pray that they can get some kind of steal. Young-J desperately trying to get his way over onto the pin, flashes, and he actually finds the steal! He takes it right out of their hands! It will cost him his life, but if the rest of the team can survive with the Baron buff, then they can hold out!
Well, it's 32 minutes into the game, and it's a 10,000 gold lead, but that is exactly what they needed to try to come back in this game. You can see that KT's response is immediately to try to push down mid, but they're up against Baron minions, so we'll see how this goes.
They are. No, not many of them. It seems like they will just go ahead and call for the retreat for now. Don't want to try to force the issue. And man, Young-J punching his ticket to Valhalla. Great little move there. Redeeming himself after some blunders in this series. I keep saying series, this game.
Yeah, just a game.
Just
and
one.
He just rushes forward. You can see nobody can stop him. Perfectly timed smite gets in there with about 800 health. And down it goes. Other than that, not much else happened. There was a lot of skirmishing. You could see that Rebel was trying to do his best to try to zone them away, but now Gen.G actually have a chance to begin pushing here.
Yeah. Dragon will get taken. That's going to be the Cloud Soul coming in for KT. They take down one tower. Rebel flashing forward, looking to get in there. Gets the knock up forward onto Cars. They dive in. Shockwave connects on the 2. Horn again looking a little bit sad. Not going to be finding too much of anything here as Noah just fires away over the wall. Waiting for his moment. Jumps into the Arcane Shift. Looks to finish off the Olaf. A few more auto attacks would do so. And he finally will go ahead and kill him off. Nicola goes golden over on the side as Noah tries to come to his rescue. Jumps forward. They dive in deep looking for Kale, who's just got no mana remaining. Nicola will be able to finish him off. And just like that, they were in the driver's seat for a moment. But as Lonely desperately tries to escape, KT Rolster will turn this right back over on its head. TP forward from Nicola now into the mid lane as they look to finish it off.
All Noah has to do is just chase him down, deny his back, and that should be the end of the game. They've got 2 members here. Teleport. Well,
I'm coming, towers!
you know, that was,
Yep.
I suppose that was his best bet. Although it wasn't much of a bet at all.
No, it wasn't. Well, 20-5. 11,000 gold in the lead here. That will be KT Rolster starting off 20-6. I have to go ahead and redact the previous one. They will start off their KeSPA Cup 2-0 on the day. Gen.G, however, a bit of an unfortunate performance from them.
Yeah, you know, essentially 2 different rosters. Only Noah stays for both games. Gen.G, I think that they're suffering a little bit of what we've seen before from some of the other teams that are newer or are second-line rosters, which is just they don't have a lot of conviction in their plays. They're just like, should we do this or should we do nothing?
Yeah.
And most of the time they choose the latter, and they kind of just got nothing. I mean, there's a Cloud Soul taken by KT. They got both Barons. They got both Rift Heralds. You know, a lot of the lanes, you know, okay, the bottom lane, at least,
It was a good start.
they were able to take it down, but
They had a CS lead
that's
at the
it.
beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Poor Lonely.
Yeah.
That was not the game that you want to have in your KeSPA Cup debut. Just couldn't quite line up those horns. Couldn't escape.
Yeah, you didn't really end
Had
up
nowhere
doing
to
too much
TP.
at all. It's rough for an Ornn when you're up against, I almost said Callista again, Ezreal and Kindred,
Yeah.
because you're just really never going to lock them down. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
The one gank attempt up top, he just flashed away from the Ornhorn. So I don't even know if an Ornhorn knocked up one person in that game, the amount of times we saw it. Because I was kind of looking after the first one, I'm like,
There's
the
definitely not.
second one, yeah,
Definitely not enough for a highlight reel.
no.
So, it'd be the saddest Orin highlight reel of all
Yeah.
time if you
But-
just took clips from this one.
Yeah. Well, once the Kindred got ahead, it was kind of just a little bit too much for them to handle. The Olaf doesn't do too well into that if the Kindred gets ahead. And the Ezreal as well, as you mentioned, even though he had kind of a bad start, he was able to come back into the game very well. Obviously, we saw his highlight moment where
Oh,
he was
yeah.
going kind of 1v3, 1v4, and he had quite a good game. I think we're seeing the reason why Noah is getting some more play.
I was going to say, there's, I think fans can have some faith in Noah at least. You know, don't get excited yet, but just
Definitely
I
don't
think
get
that you
excited.
can see the promise that this player does have as he
Yeah.
continues to evolve and play alongside UCal, alongside Doran, get their veteran advice and experience and whatnot. You know, of course, coached by Acorn as well. So there's plenty of resources for him to continue to grow. But this is a very strong showing. It is against a weaker squad, so we have to see how he's going to do as we move forward. Because so far today, KT Rolster, not the strongest opponents that we've ever seen in the world. If he can play a clean Ezreal like that, going up against Deft, or make that matchup even pretty competitive, then I'm definitely all aboard the Noah train.
Yeah.
Aboard his arc. Screw
Yeah.
it. Let's just go for the biblical reference.
Noah's Ark. And I think he'll be playing again on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken.
I would be
Or
surprised if he's
maybe
not.
maybe Wednesday. It's one of those days.
We'll
Not
find
tomorrow, but the day after.
We'll find out later.
But some of the highlights here. Started off with this invade, you'll remember. That actually did go in favor of KT, just in terms of the summoners. And of course, the jungle was delayed from the side of Gen.G because he was down a buff.
Yeah, this was, I mean, that was the start. That was the beginning of the slippery slope. Then Gen.G just kind of getting jumped on here, constantly bullied. Great reaction from Gideon to the Lamb's Respite. Just completely turns his fight on its head. And this was really, I think, the big moment where things started sliding downhill for the side of Gen.G.
Yeah, you know, trying his hardest. A for effort here for Lonely, but can't totally blame him because his team went in kind of alone without him leading the charge. And you can see there were multiple moments where they were just a little bit too far ahead. Envy able to get away here at the end, but the gap was too large in this game. Noah eventually having some fun here at the end.
Yeah, guy just took off. Just a phenomenal performance from him. I'm not gonna lie, with his skin, when he uses that True Shot Barrage, kind of looked like he was gonna be firing it back down the lane. That really debated me. At the
I think it's because he R-flashed, which would mean like it was behind him where he previously was.
Perhaps.
Whereas Mouse, you know.
That might be the case.
Although it like calculated where his mouse was after the flash. Not 100% sure.
That very well could be the explanation. This was the hero play that looked like for a brief moment maybe was going to turn the game around a bit for Gen.G, or at least extend it even further, but unfortunately, it didn't last very long.
Yeah, they got right back in here. And these kind of fights where they're just all broken up. The Ornhorn, again, going wide.
I didn't even notice that he missed it completely.
Yeah, happened a couple of times. Just a rough game for him. We've seen him before, and he's performed better in the past. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to chalk this up at least to you know, jitters and nerves and whatnot coming into the KeSPA Cup. But not the kind of performance you can afford to have when you do have another series on the horizon, because Gen.G's not done yet. Everybody, you know, has got their games to play, and
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, he did some damage.
Over 1K per minute.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. Those are like, the only people who did that really on AD carry in the LCK were like Deft and Ruler during
Ruler.
2020.
Thinking back, like, yeah, there's been a couple times where that happens,
Yeah.
but oh boy, well, that was match number 3 in the books. Coming up next, we have Reddit Breon going up against Hanwha Live Esports, so stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.